Welcome to the New Life Stories channel. We hope you will have fun with us. Enjoy watching.
It had been a year and a half since I'd lived in that apartment alone. Claire left one day, picking up her always packed duty bag, giving me a peck on the cheek at the door and the usual bye, and never came back. Everyone managed to get off the airplane that burned on the runway on Christmas Eve, and she didn't. Everyone made it home on Christmas Eve, and she didn't. Claire worked as a flight attendant. The phone rang that January morning and her name came up on a display, but the voice was a stranger. "Hello, this is Erica Rogers, on-call physician at Rockefeller University Hospital. I'm calling you from Claire Bolton's cell phone. Your number was in her contacts. I'm sorry, we've done everything we can." I didn't go to the funeral or the wake. I don't know much of her family, and she didn't care. In fact, I'm sure she would have minded. Claire hated it when I saw her in bed in the morning with her hair untidy after a nap, let alone a coffin. I decided it wasn't fair. There was no way she could sneak off to the bathroom as usual and come back in all her glory. A week after the funeral, her cousin, I think it was her brother, came to pick up her things. It wasn't much, but it fit into one cardboard Christmas tree box, which was empty at the time. The hardest part was throwing out, you'll laugh, her toothbrush forgotten while packing. I am not a masochist who cherishes his grief by looking tearfully at the only thing that belonged to his beloved. Nor am I a fetishist, much less a fetishist. However, the stupid flat brush that stood next to mine in a plastic cup on the bathroom shelf did not want to be thrown away. And when I finally threw it away, I clearly realized that there was nothing more for me to do in this apartment. It's not about the brush, of course. It's about the dreams. I'm sitting in a chair, and Claire is walking down the aisle, dazzlingly beautiful in her American Airlines uniform and smiling. That's actually how she and I met 5 years ago. But in the dream, I hesitate to ask, "You're dead, aren't you?" "No." Instead, I say, "Where have you been, Claire?" "Ah," she waves her hand nonchalantly. Long story. My cell phone's change. Write it down. And she dictates. I hurriedly write it down on a napkin. But the numbers get mixed up. The napkin keeps tearing. I ask her again. She repeats it. But the numbers are different for some reason, and they get mixed up again. "Lady, how long do you have to wait?" The lady at the end of the salon indignantly presses the call button. "There's a fire, and you're talking." "I'll be right back, just to put out the fire," Claire said cheerfully and left. I wake up, frantically trying to remember at least part of the number until I realize it doesn't make any sense. Or I'm standing in an unfamiliar kitchen, grilling steaks and singing. I always sang when I cooked. Only Claire could tolerate those eerie sounds calmly and even cheerfully. She said it took a special talent to sing so badly, and any talent should be appreciated. But I was better at steaks than Claire. I didn't take any credit for that. Claire couldn't cook at all. The front door slammed. There was a clatter as the duty bag flew into the corner of the hallway, and she appeared on the kitchen doorstep. With shining eyes, ruddy and fresh from the frost. It would be Christmas soon. She smelled of snow and airport duty-free. She tried half the perfume on herself again in a foreign port. Aha, my beloved made a beastly face. Meat? And I brought wine. French. You could have brought perfume. French, too. Appreciate my kindness. The dreams were almost always happy, as light and happy as Claire herself. That was their nightmare, because the lighter the dreams were at night, the harder reality became during the day. Decided out of the apartment. I honestly finished the story and am closing the book. Wait, the clerk slapped himself on the forehead with the palm of his hand ringingly. Wait, there's an option. How did I forget about it? I'll be right back. I sat down again on the chair, from which I had just risen in the intention to say goodbye to another realtor's office, where I went in search of a suitable apartment. The sign at its entrance read, Angel. 2 white wings growing out of the crossbar were drawn to the letter A for clarity. Below that, in small print, it added, Personal services only. It was interesting to watch the old gray-haired realtor, portraying excitement with the enthusiasm of a provincial theater actor, dug into the computer database. However, he still had talent because he looked really excited. He even loosened the knot of his tie and undid the top button of his shirt in a very natural gesture. Nice detail. The lengths people go to in order to sell stale merchandise to a customer. What kind of artist dies in this boring rental office? And no, not here. The owner of file cabinets and lists rushed from the computer to the rack with folders, rummaged through the papers, and with a look of victory showed me a dusty envelope. Here, this is what you need. Sing something. I beg your pardon? It doesn't matter what. The grandfather understood my perplexed question in his own way, a psalm or an aria. Why? According to the terms of the contract. Well, will you sing? What the hell is going on here? Has Grandpa gone crazy with all this square footage? Should I turn around and leave? But that way I won't know what the deal was here. All right. Credence is okay. Led Zeppelin. The old man was surprisingly erudite. And then I started humming something heartfelt. That's it. That's it. Perfect. The realtor waved his hands in the air. You can't beat your instincts. Here, take a look at this. It's been sitting there for a year and a half. The apartment is absolutely wonderful. The price is symbolic. Just what you're looking for. And it's been sitting there for a year and a half? I doubted it. Exactly. He was not at all embarrassed by my tricky question. It's just waiting for you. But you read it yourself. There's a clause about the terms of the lease at the bottom. I took a piece of stamped paper out of the envelope. A key with a keychain in the form of a cartoon fat airplane fell on the table. The airplane was smiling and winking. The last clause of the standard contract read, "The apartment can be rented only and exclusively to a tenant who has a complete, emphasized lack of musical hearing and voice." Then came the notes of appearance, which almost exactly matched my height, hair color, eyes, and age. That doesn't make any sense. Who's the landlord? I was under no illusions about my musical abilities, but I was still a little offended. I wouldn't know. I've only been here a year, on assignment, so to speak, and the contract was signed. The old man looked at the ceiling for some reason. "In our main office. But don't doubt, everything is legal. All the stamps are present. So shall we take a look? It's here in the center. It's not far. Let's go." I strongly doubted that I would agree to rent an apartment from some crazy music lover, but the story was developing interestingly, and I wanted to see this movie through to the end. The old pre-revolutionary house was indeed just a stone's throw away. Its only entrance was guarded by caryatids. They also supported a semicircular balcony with a young birch tree growing green on it. In the tiny, clanking elevator, the realtor checked the apartment list. "That's right," he said, "7th floor," and confidently pressed the button for the last 6th floor. From the final stop of the elevator, we had to stomp up the stairs. Finally, the cheerful old man stopped in front of the only door on the landing and solemnly handed me the key with the airplane. Voila! With the gesture of a magician pulling a rabbit out of his hat, he proudly pointed to the door. It was the attic. I don't know where my passion for sloping ceilings and skylights came from, but I'd wanted an attic since I was a kid. I guess at first they reminded me of the holds of the sailing ships I once sailed on treasure hunts with a young Jim Hawkins, and later in protest against the familiar square sameness of modern boxes. Sign here and here. The clever realtor correctly interpreted the look of delight on my face, which I didn't bother to hide. "Here's the key. This is your copy of the contract. I'll let you get settled in. And don't lose any more of your loved ones." "What?" I stared at my grandfather. I must have misheard him. "I'm saying don't lose the key. There's no spare. In fact, that was your spare. Goodbye, good luck." I ignored the moment of his departure, twisting my head around and circling the rooms. Suddenly, I stood stiffly in the kitchen. I felt like I was seeing the kitchen from my dreams. There had been so many dreams in a year and a half that I seemed to know and remember every corner of it. I had to shake my head, as dogs do when caught in the rain, to make the obsession go away. Déjà vu, a phenomenon unexplained by science but quite common. The refrigerator I examined was expectedly empty. I went down to the supermarket across the street and stocked up on pizza for dinner and instant coffee for breakfast. I didn't want to drive through sweltering hot New York City to my old apartment to get my things. Not tonight, anyway. I wasn't dreaming about Claire. In my dream, I was singing. I was singing very well, loud, hitting all the notes. Beautiful, divine sounds were born without any effort on my part and without any strain on my body. The dream was so vivid and pleasant that when I woke up, I tried to repeat aloud the aria of Jesus from Weber's opera still sounding in my ears. The timid hope of a miracle didn't last a minute. It still didn't turn out well. Jillian would have thought I was mocking him and mocking me on purpose. Bad. Only the people closest to me were so sensitive about my singing. Even the girlfriend I dated for 3 whole weeks this summer instantly called me a sadist as soon as I tried to remind her of a certain tune. The friend obviously wasn't close enough. Claire, on the other hand, "Okay, stop. There is no Claire here anymore. There never was. Why did you move here? If your girlfriends don't like the way you sing, don't sing. It's not Claire's fault." A little saddened by the lack of miracles in my life, I lay there for a while, staring at the hot blue sky through the skylight above my bed And when Pontius Pilate got to the words, "I'm washing my hands and my head," I got up and went to take a shower. In the morning, the bathroom looked completely different than it had yesterday when I'd explored the apartment in the dusk. Its main luxury and attraction was a narrow, tall window made of many colored panes of glass. Standing under the hot shower, I could not take my eyes off this fabulous window. Daylight, penetrating through cherry, dark green, amber shards, turned an ordinary bathroom into a fairy tale concert hall. It was a symphony with the sun as conductor. Sad high notes of royal blue changed, intertwined in the air, and reflected in the mirrors, with anxious basses of blood red, gave way to gentle blues and greens, again soared upwards with blue sparks, and slowly fell to the tiled floor with drops of violet adagio. It was as if I was standing not only under the jets of water that washed away the dirt from my body, but also under the streams of light that washed away the dirt and pain from my soul. Only when I turned off the water did I hear my cell phone ringing in the apartment. It had been ringing nonstop the whole time I was wiping myself off and pulling my clothes over my still damp body. It didn't stop ringing as I slapped my bare feet in the direction of the sound. Finally, the stubbornly vibrating and ringing marvel of technology was found in the bed. "Hello, this is Erica Rogers, on-call physician at Rockefeller University Hospital. I'm calling at the request of Claire Bolton. She's not yet able to speak herself, severe burns to her respiratory tract. However, it's no longer life-threatening. You're welcome to visit her." I lay on the disassembled bed, watching snowflakes slowly fall from the low January sky onto the still warm July sunshine on the glass of the skylight above my head, turning into tears and rolling down.